But joining us tonight is Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Rubio, welcome back, as always, sir. I don't know whether you've gotten wind of this. Apparently, he's going to make this announcement tonight at the State of the Union. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you're the foreign policy expert. You want the U.S. military to build a port in Gaza?
It's theater. It's all designed, just like the airdrops last week. It's not designed to solve anything. It's designed to basically appease that element of his base that is screaming at them about genocide and demanding ceasefire and all this other pro-Hamas stuff. And these are voters. These are voters in their base, the voters they've invited into their coalition that are now threatening not to vote for him in November. And so they keep coming up with creative ways to try to appease them. The second, though, if they actually follow through with this, is they're going to need it. I mean, this is what the military has said in the past. They'll need 2,000 troops on the ground. They'll say no boots on the ground. You're going to need them. Who's going to secure? You need someone on the ground to protect you while you're actually putting up all the things that you need to put up through the Army Corps and others to build a temporary port. That's the second. The third is, once you get aid in, who's going to distribute it? Because that's really the factor in place right now. The only people on the ground with any organization to distribute things are Hamas. So in essence, can they guarantee that we're going to go through all this trouble, put American lives on the line, just so aid can be distributed to Hamas, who in turn will then control it like they've controlled everything? There's no Hamas fighters starving to death, and Hamas has no history, none whatsoever. They have zero history of ever helping civilians or people. So this is all for show, and it's dangerous. The fastest way to get assistance to the people suffering in Gaza is to allow Israel to defeat Hamas, because they are the ones that have brought this suffering upon them.
I mean, is anybody suspecting? This came as new news to me. All right, you're much closer to it than I am, Lord knows. But all of a sudden committing U.S. troops into the Israeli-Hamas situation. Israel hasn't asked for that, as far as I know. And I don't think American voters, American parents, I don't think American patriots want to do that. So this is like some whole new horizon. And as you say, if you build a port, then you have to protect the port, because there'll be U.S. military assets or related civilian assets. So this just strikes me as sheer insanity.
It's not, it's insanity, it's reckless, it's them grasping at what can we come up with, what can we announce at the State of the Union that'll help us politically with these disenchanted voters that no one's ever woken up for. You saw the Congresswoman from New York, what's her name, the one, she was heckled the other day by people demanding that she say that it's genocide, even though she has said that in the past. You saw Adam Schiff at his victory speech the other night being heckled. I mean, they are just being hounded by these radical elements that are part of their voter base that are pro-Hamas, anti-Israel, and they're trying to appease them.
Senator, what's going to happen? What do you have any expectations with respect to solving the border problem, the southern border problem? Actually, I should say in the U.S., the northern and southern border problem here. Do you think Biden will have anything to say about that tonight, sir?
I don't know. He has the power. Our law is pretty clear. The law says that everybody who's in this country illegally should be detained through removal. We've had exceptions in the past for cases on an individual basis. Biden, through executive order, turned the exceptions into the rule because he campaigned. This is basically the Biden campaign in 2020. He said, if you elect me, I will do the opposite of what Donald Trump has done on the border. Everything he's done, I will do the opposite. And that's what he did in January. And the result is 7.2 million people have come into this country illegally in 3 years, or 3 years and 2 months. And it's growing every day. So now, in order to actually solve it, he would have to admit that Trump was right. But he doesn't want to do that. Plus, he has elements of his own base that'll go bonkers if he actually does it. So I don't know what he's going to announce tonight, but at least they're now admitting that they have executive order power to reverse his executive orders and go back to what the policies were in December of 2020, when we didn't have the numbers that we're facing now. And the State of the Union is happening tonight. Yesterday, the state of New York deployed National Guard troops to protect the city against this migrant crime wave. So that's happening. After
they said that they would never do such a thing, or that no one should ever do such a thing. Can I just switch gears a little bit, Senator, before I lose you? I know it's a busy evening. Is it possible to have peace overtures or a peace attempt to solve Ukraine-Russia rather than just throw more money into it? I don't want to leave Ukraine in the lurch, sir. That is not my view. But what I would like to know is, why can't there be some kind of diplomatic off-ramp or peace negotiation off-ramp? Is such a thing possible?
Well, I think that's what we're ultimately going to arrive at. The question is, when that moment comes, who's going to have the leverage? Is it Putin, who thinks that he's going to be able to, he has the upper hand and can insist on greater demands? Or is it Ukraine? Because Putin realizes he's not going to be able to achieve, he's not going to be able to achieve his original objective, which is taking over the country, but that now Putin realizes he can't achieve even some of his more recent objectives. So who's going to have the leverage? And that really should be the purpose of our assistance to Ukraine, is to provide them the maximum amount of leverage so they can get the best conditions possible when that time comes to have that negotiation, which is, I think, where this ultimately arrives, because neither Ukraine nor Russia at this point is anywhere close to achieving their ultimate goals as they define it and state it out there. So really the purpose of our aid should be to give Ukraine the maximum amount of leverage going into those negotiations. That they won't have it if Putin feels like he has the upper hand and America is cutting and running. But we got to take care of our border first. I mean, that's my objective here. We've got to show Americans that we care as much about the safety of this country as we do about the safety of another country. And they're both important, but America always has to come before the others.
Senator Rubio, thank you, sir. We appreciate it very much. Appreciate it again. All right, folks.